the all-new generation of the Ford Escape, that's how you call it in the US, or Ford Kuga, as you call it in Europe. Basically the same vehicles, with some regulations changed here and there, but interesting for all worldwide customers of this very vehicle. An exterior and interior. Let's go! In the front, Ford says they have their inspirations from their sports vehicles, therefore they have this big fishmouth grille which is placed on the lower end, also with a sporty style. Now you also can get LED headlamps. 4 meters 60 or 181 inches is the length of the new Escape or the new Kuga. That's about 8 centimeters more in length or 3 inches more in length. It sits on a new platform. It's supposed to create more stiffness on the whole vehicle. At the same time, 90 kilograms less in weight. We'll see how that one plays out in driving very soon. You can see here at the rear that they put the window a little bit flatter, again to strengthen this sporty design. And also here more horizontal stress from the tail lamps. And the tail lamps also now feature a more three-dimensional sculptural shape. So yes, the car looks sleeker than before, but I think it lost a little bit of its main character the Escape or the Kuga had before. Unfortunately, we cannot open the hood right here because it's a pre-production car here for the motor show. This one will be the new plug-in hybrid, and the interesting thing is they'll have an inbuilt hybrid and the plug-in hybrid both. The plug-in hybrid and both the inbuilt hybrid with a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine, petrol 225 horsepower, and then either as the inbuilt hybrid or the PHEV, this one in here will have 30 miles or 50 kilometers of pure electric range if it's charged up, with a battery capacity of 14.4 kilowatt hours. Pretty interesting, and let's see how which concept will actually be the more important one. As a pure petrol, you have a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder petrol engine with either 120 or 150 horsepower. And there will also be diesels, 1.5 liter diesel, 120 horsepower, 2 liter diesel, 190 horsepower, and also supposed to have a 150 horsepower mild hybrid diesel. Of course, the diesels primarily then for Europe, especially then the hybrid will be for the US. So you'll also be able, you know that from Ford already, to open or close the car here with the key code. That is very interesting, especially for car sharing and something. Then door closing sound is actually not familiar. Well, but the windows are also lowered. Pretty strong warning sound here at the moment. There's soft touch at the inside of the doors, but you can see, those cars are rather hand-built. I hope it will be better as for the build quality from the real final cars. Then this one here is this aluminum style inlet right there. Also at the top part of the automatic window levers, and a new structured design here at the door handle. Then also some space for some bottles right there. And the rest of the interior also very interesting. The steering wheel looks quite ordinary. We've seen it also in the Focus already. Let's now get inside right here. It's actually quite easy entry. Steering wheel, it's a good grip, can also be controlled manual here. And I'm 1m86 or 6'1", and it leaves me plenty of headroom, that's no problem. We also have an electric seat support right there. Base comes with manual seats. This is the interior overview. It looks a little bit cleaner than before, especially this area right there. New 8-inch touchscreen with the newest system available. Phone either via Bluetooth, but there will also be the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto function if you want that. So it's a little bit simpler in the design overall. Let's browse through here. There will be different apps available. connect the phone right there. So there. This one also for the plug-in hybrid, where you can, for example, time the charge and so on. Car is not fully powered, so we cannot access all of the system. Then the climate unit is still manual in the lower end, also with the heated steering wheel as an option. That's a pretty nice option. Now getting in the rear. Here, by the way, the inside of the doors is then hard pack plastic. And I'm going to take a look at the headroom right here when I go upright. It still leaves some headroom. It's actually, you sit quite high here for the rear seats. And interesting, those are at the moment all the way back. So I also have some legroom right there, so that's no problem. 4 toy adults can easily travel here. If you want a little bit longer trunk, you can also put the bench forward. That would be possible. And you flip the seats from here. So Ford promises us 37 to 65 cubic feet of trunk capacity. The electric tailgate here opens a little bit slowly. It's a little bit poor as for the lighting right here, but you can see you got a lot of square dimensions. So below here you got some more space, and at the moment they just have the battery right there. 12-volt power supply, and then those seats can also be flipped, of course. But let's first take a look at the normal length measurements. So here in length we have just under 90 centimeters, and in width that looks actually quite good, just a little over a meter. And now let's take a look at the all-white vehicle, so different color here for you. Those ones here, by the way, are also 19-inch wheels. They still look a little bit smaller because the tires are a little bit different, but you'll have, of course, different choices for that too, depending also on summer or a winter tire. I think here in the white, and also here's a little bit better light, the car contours come a little bit better alongside. So a little bit different trim. It's the SE trim here, the other one was the SEL. But there are also different color choice. I mean, it looks a little bit brighter. That's nice from the seats, but this is also animal skin surface, and already looks quite dated already right now. Although it's a brand new car, so I'd really advise you to stick with the fabric seats. That will also be more durable. Well, I've been in the plug-in hybrid, now the built-in hybrid, and is it really different from the bench and from the head clearance? Well, this one here does have the panoramic roof, so it is a little bit different from the head clearance indeed. But as I sit here on the bench, that is not really quite different. So they put the battery in a way that it does not affect the interior that much, and I think that's a very clever choice. And now to our conclusion for the day with the all-new Ford Escape or Ford Kuga. Well, it's interesting that they took a sportier shape, so it's indeed very much different than the predecessor model. Is it your taste? Please tell me in the comments. Or did you like the old one, the outgoing model, more? Well, it's not exactly an SUV coupe, but it starts to get something of that shape. On the interior, well, you have newer infotainment system. That's definitely an upgrade. So that is no doubt a big improvement. However, I would have expected a little bit more from the interior build quality here with the new model. Yeah, it's an early prototype model. We'll see how that one plays out when it's a little bit more finalized. But as we've seen with the recent Ford models, they did not do so much as for the interior build quality. Usually they have very good suspensions and very good steering, so they have, a lot of fun in driving that car. But the interior build quality does quite often not really catch up with the driving fun those cars deliver. Especially here now with the new stiffer platform, that promises a better drive than before. Really excited to see that one when we actually can drive the vehicle. And most important thing to me is the new engine lineup with both the inbuilt hybrid. They say you might end up with about 40 mpg for that one. And of course with the plug-in hybrid, that makes sense if you can charge it up as a short commuting way, then do that one pure electric and use the petrol engine then for longer drives. So especially those two hybrid engines will be very interesting to test that out later. So what's your take on the new Escape or the new Kuga? And are you a customer probably from the US or from Europe? Are you already owning a Kuga or an Escape? If that's true, then please tell us your experience with this vehicle, because it's always great to share some information and experience of the actual owners of those cars. Thanks so much for tuning into Autogefuhl. Let's check out more cars also here from the New York Auto Show.